So I'm excited that you've joined me today for this class. Today we're going to learn how to free yourself to eat your way. So are you tired of being fit into the diet mold? If so, you're about to find some freedom. My name is Susan Prather. I'm a family nurse practitioner who's both conventionally trained as well as trained in integrative medicine. And I own and operate the WAE Clinic. Give me just one moment. I'm going to make sure everything is still going as planned, and we will get started. Okay, it appears we're live streaming, and I'm hoping that you guys can hear me okay. So, okay. So how many of you have totally let your eating habits go crazy during the last few months? Have you gained the COVID-19 pounds? It's really hard to maintain healthy eating habits when our routines are interrupted. Stress also makes it difficult, and we have definitely had some of those things in the last few months. Am I right? Well, I have good news. We can help. A lot of times we think of health as being either sick or well, and in reality, it's more complicated than that. There is an illness-wellness continuum, and so let's take a look at this next slide and see where you might fall. A lot of times we think we're either well or sick, but realistically, we could be anywhere on this spectrum. So take a look at that and see if there's anywhere that you could see yourself fitting, okay? All right. So I'm going to go into some detail now about how nutrients and dietary intake play a major role in where you fall on this continuum. I'm going to show you a couple of graphics with our most common complaints and how nutrition is so heavily linked to these areas. The first is fatigue. If you notice, there are multiple nutrients that are important for keeping you from feeling fatigued. So many of these, not just for fatigue, but as we go through this list, you'll see that some of them even duplicate throughout the other issues. So the next one would be weight management. There's a lot of nutrients that are involved in that weight management, as well as anxiety and depression. So what if you could utilize good nutrition and some supplementation to help with your mood? Have you ever been told that was a possibility before? This slide actually shows us about the nutrient functions and then the deficiency symptoms that you might have. So if you have a B1 deficiency, what it actually does, where it's found in your foods, and then what kind of symptoms or problems that you might have. And there are two slides. And when I finish these slides will be available on our website as well. So you can always go back and look at these again, because I know there's a lot of information. This is just the second page of that same slide. This slide actually shows us what can happen to your nutrients with certain medications. And I would venture to say that most everyone who's watching this video is on at least one medication, even if it's something as simple as a stomach medication or an antidepressant. Each of those you see can actually cause you to have some deficiencies of specific nutrients, and then in turn cause other health problems. So as you can see, nutrition plays a huge role in our wellness. The medication we take can deplete vital nutrients, causing other health problems. So is the answer to just take lots of vitamins? No. The answer is to fuel your body with whole foods that are rich in these beneficial nutrients. We offer personalized nutritional counseling here at the WAE Clinic. Why is it personalized and not just a one-size-fits-all diet? Because all of our bodies are different. We have different genetic predispositions, environmental factors, stressors, and lifestyles. And if everyone were to be on the same diet, life would be pretty boring. This is where personalization comes in. We offer multiple options for nutritional lifestyle changes. I hate to call them diets. In reality, the way we eat should be a lifestyle, not a short-term fix or fad diet. So we begin with your specific location on the wellness continuum. We do a complete physical exam and history, and then develop these food plans to meet your lifestyle rather than the other way around. So we use clinically validated food plans developed by the Institutes of Functional Medicine. There are multiple types and variations of these plans depending on your needs, and each plan has specific healing focus to help you be optimally well. This will take into account your food sensitivities, dislikes, calorie restrictions, weight loss goals, and energy expenditure. Some of these plans are foundational to health, and some are advanced interventions that help you with specific disease processes like IBS, multiple chemical sensitivity, and chronic fatigue syndrome. Each plan has a different macronutrient ratio and recommendation. The core food plan provides a healthy balance of high quality macronutrients such as protein, fats, and carbs, and beneficial micronutrients such as minerals, vitamins, and phytonutrients obtained from phytonutrient rich fruits and vegetables to establish a baseline healthy eating plan for anyone that's interested in improving their diet. It is based on current research on what and how people should eat in order to live long and healthy lives. It takes elements from the Mediterranean diet and the paleo diet and encourages low glycemic carbohydrates. The cardiometabolic food plan addresses blood sugar dysfunction, insulin resistance, truncal obesity, dyslipidemia, hypertension, metabolic syndrome, and associated inflammation. It does this by emphasizing therapeutic low glycemic foods while reducing simple sugars, increasing dietary fiber, and helping people with their timing of their meals. Elimination diets, which is our elimination food plan, helps uncover what foods might be culprits in adverse food reactions, whether they're true allergies, intolerances, or sensitivities. Often symptoms that have failed to respond to conventional medical therapy will resolve by following an elimination diet. After the initial period of eliminating foods, many chronic symptoms should improve or disappear. And many people with food sensitivities don't even realize how awful they feel until the trigger foods are removed from their diet. Then, through a guided reintroduction process, individuals can become more aware of trigger foods and the kinds of symptoms they experience when exposed to those foods. The detox food plan reduces the intake of common food triggers and focuses on long-term nutritional support of the major body systems involved in detoxification, such as the gut, liver, and kidneys. It places a strong emphasis on eating clean foods for life, such as organic when possible, and on reducing food contact with contaminating elements such as plastics. The goal of this plan is to create a gut-liver axis of support, lower the burden on the immune system, and provide adequate nourishment. GI-specific dietary interventions are also available for people with gastrointestinal complaints who have followed the elimination diet but are still experiencing some symptoms. These therapeutic diets include antifungal or anti-candida diets, a low FODMAP diet, a specific carbohydrate diet, and a gut and psychology syndrome or GAPS diet, and a restoration diet, the MITO food plan is an anti-inflammatory, low glycemic, gluten-free, low grain, high quality fat approach to eating. The plan focuses on supporting your healthy mitochondria through foods that improve energy production. The plan supports the body in its production of energy. It restores a sense of vitality, promotes healthy aging, and assists in preventing the development of and treating chronic neurological conditions. The Renew Food Plan is a nutritional pathway to help for those who have autoimmune or gastrointestinal, neurologic, and other chronic health conditions. It's an extension of the elimination diet, and this plan is designed as a whole system reboot to set an individual on a renewed path to wellness. It helps support healing by removing common food triggers that are contributing to metabolic dysfunction while providing the essential nutrients that are needed for health and vitality. On the Renew Food Plan, health is supported through elimination of sugar, dairy, grains, both gluten-free and gluten-containing, alcohol, caffeine, and other processed foods that may contain heavy metals, GMOs, artificial sweeteners, as well as those that are high in pro-inflammatory saturated animal fats. So as you can see, each plan is determined and adapted to meet your specific health and wellness goals. So for example, we look at what your specific disease process might be. So if you have symptoms of GI distress or you have elevated blood sugar, we may choose something like elimination diet for the GI, or elevated blood sugar, we may look at a cardiometabolic plan. If you're gaining weight, we may want to do a core food plan. These are just some additional things that would help us in determining which one might be best for you. So let's go into a little bit more detail about what the core food plan has to offer you. So these are the main features of the core food plan. Focuses on whole foods, promotes clean and organic foods, adequate quality protein, balanced quality fats, high fiber, low and simple sugars, has phytonutrient diversity, and it's more of a foundational eating plan. And it's a focus mainly on those whole foods. which is why it's called a core plan. We call it a core food plan because it lays the foundations for eating well that will carry an individual throughout life. The core food plan uses the basic principles of food as medicine to support the individual's health goals and improve his or her relationship with food. Now, some practitioners find that patients have fewer symptoms when they go off of grains or when they switch to gluten-free grains like rice, millet, or quinoa. The core food plan suggests minimizing grains in the daily diet with no more than 1 to 2 servings per day for most individuals, unless we state otherwise. The food plan also recommends eating organically grown, non-GMO whole grains. For individuals who want to limit or avoid exposure to gluten, grains are separated into 2 categories, either gluten-free grains or gluten-containing grains, and those are listed in the plans. So each plan has a 2-page guide that looks like this, that gives you a list of all the foods that are okay for you to eat. And if it's not listed, it typically means that's a food that you're avoiding. It also comes with a comprehensive guide that explains the ins and outs of the plan and a recipe guide with a meal planner as well. The macronutrient ratios vary between each food plan, and after obtaining a Tanita weight in the clinic, we calculate your basal metabolic rate, and that helps us determine your energy requirements and calorie intake recommendations and serving sizes. So that's also something that's very personalized to you. This is meant to be more of a guide, but each plan is a little different. So you see the core plan is a 25% protein, 30% fat, 45% carbohydrate diet or food plan. And then this is just another breakdown of what those distributions look like, kind of what your plate would look like. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the cardio food plan. So the cardio food plan is used to treat both cardiovascular and metabolic diseases. And while this may seem like those are two different types of conditions, cardiovascular and metabolic dysfunction share similar causes, including inflammation, insulin resistance, and stress. And this food plan is called cardiometabolic for that reason, because it addresses both of those disease states. It allows people to use food medicinally to treat common underlying causes. Food really is medicine. So anyone who's at risk for cardiovascular disease, who maybe has metabolic syndrome or type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, issues with belly fat, any of those things, then those are potential patients that would want to do a cardiometabolic food plan. So these are the main features of it: low glycemic impact, targeted calories, balancing blood sugar, high fiber, low and simple sugars, balanced quality fats, condition-specific phytonutrients, and we'll go into that in a little more detail in a second, and then modified Mediterranean approach. So these next 2 slides will show you kind of the intricate web that you see that's at play in these disease processes. There's so much going on that actually leads to things like metabolic syndrome and cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. So all of these things are kind of addressed with this food plan. So much of the time, we will actually prescribe medications, or I say we, providers will prescribe medications for disease process with really no attention to lifestyle or food plans. And so this actually shows you just how powerful food can be to treat these disease processes. So if you look kind of closely, there's actually some specifics about how these particular foods can actually help lower your blood pressure, or help you with your metabolic syndrome, or help you with your cholesterol. So there are actually ways to do that with your diet, in some cases without medications, in some cases with medications. So symptoms and conditions that have failed to respond to conventional medical therapy may resolve when a person follows one of these diets. So once again, you're going to see that the cardiometabolic has two different sets, and then these are specific calorie dosings depending on the person as well. And then again, the macronutrients are 30 protein, 30 fat, 40 carb for that one. All right, so the elimination diet is the next diet, and so, or food plan. Specific food plans, such as the elimination diet, can actually help take care of some disease processes that didn't resolve with other medical therapies. So specific foods or foods eaten frequently may be related to a long list of health conditions, including digestive problems, headaches, chronic sinus drainage, low energy, depression, mood swings, eczema, skin irritations, joint aches, asthma, weight gain, and others. People may suffer from these symptoms for long periods of time without realizing that they can be connected to the foods that they're eating. Often it isn't until a food is removed that the connection between the symptoms and the foods can be even made. And so the elimination diet removes those common foods that may be causing those symptoms. And with reintroduction, it helps the patients identify the foods that may be triggering their symptoms. So this one reduces inflammation, supports a healthy gut microbiome, which is your bacteria in your gut, which we have actually found is now being considered, it's a whole nother organ, your microbiome is. It's dairy-free and gluten-free. It's phytonutrients that help heal the gut. It reduces your toxic burden. There's no calorie restriction with elimination specifically, unless you were looking to have some weight loss as well. And it promotes your body awareness to food and identifies your food triggers. So this is a list of the foods that are typically avoided in this particular plan and the foods that you can eat in this plan, extra foods. Obviously, there's more to eat than this particular list, but that's just an example. So this is a list of the anti-inflammatory foods that we want to include, things that actually help reduce inflammation. And then these are the foods that you want to exclude as well. And once again, these slides will be available on our website after the talk today. And then this is a list of substitutions. So if you're like, what am I going to eat if I can't have milk or bread or whatever? This gives you a list of things that you could eat as an alternative. And then again, the elimination diet has the 2-page document. And then there's a whole process of how we reintroduce foods. And typically we introduce one food at a time, 3 times a day for 3 days in a row to see if you're going to have any specific effect from that. So, all right, so all right, so let's click on this next one, which is the detox plan. So with the detox plan, we're really looking to try to process out excess toxins. And so toxic symptoms may occur when we get to our personal limit of accumulated toxins and are not able to clear them quickly or efficiently enough. Medical researchers are recognizing more symptoms related to the buildup of toxins, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, cancer, fatigue, infertility, allergies, behavior and mood disorders, and neurologic conditions such as tremors, headaches, cognitive difficulties, along with several others like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And so the process of detoxification is important and it involves many steps. So this is a brief graphic that shows the 2 phases of detoxification that our body has to go through to get rid of toxins. And basically it's taking something that's lipid soluble or fat soluble and making it water soluble so that it can be excreted. A lot of times what happens when we do a detox or we remove certain foods from our diet and we get really sick and we don't feel good, we have kind of that flu. It's usually because we release the toxins here in phase 1 and we don't have enough of the appropriate nutrients to get through phase 2. And when that happens, you start to feel bad, and because the toxins are just circulating in your system instead of actually moving out. So the detox food plan actually incorporates all of the nutrients in the food that you're eating that will help you naturally detoxify. Okay, so there's a lot of things you see that are important for phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. And this plan supports your liver function. It requires the organic and clean foods. It reduces your toxic burden, provides targeted antioxidants, supports your nutrient pathways, encourages a healthy elimination of toxins, balances your hormone metabolism, and reduces your food triggers. Okay, once again, 2-page document there as well. Now, the MITO food plan is actually designed to help you with energy specifically. If you're someone who's exhausted all the time, this plan might be the plan for you. So healthy mitochondria are pivotal for cellular survival, overall vitality, and graceful aging. Simply stated, the MITO food plan uses food for optimal energy while preventing accelerated aging in our most susceptible tissues. So research has shown that diet and lifestyle interventions can be helpful in providing support for healthy mitochondria. And when the mitochondria are working well, they help you to reduce your fatigue, pain, and cognitive problems while supporting muscle mass and burning excess fat, which means that a person feels better, thinks more clearly, and has less aches and stiffness, all while improving body composition. This plan is probably one of the least used because there's so many other toxins and things that are going on. But a lot of times once someone completes an elimination or a detox program, we will put them on a MITO plan to kind of help with that energy production. So if you're not sure what a mitochondria is, it's a powerhouse or fuel center of your cell. And so if you can't fuel your cells with energy, then you aren't going to feel very good. And so that's what the MITO plan is specifically designed for. So it has protective antioxidants, anti-inflammatory nutrients, high quality dietary fats, low glycemic impact. It reduces carbs with a ketogenic option if you prefer that, and intermittent fasting and calorie restriction, low grain and gluten-free, and therapeutic foods that are for energy. So if you look at this list, these are foods that we know have actual therapeutic benefits. And these are the list of those things that we would be adding into our diet to actually get those benefits. And then these are the 2-page document again. And again, this is more of a keto macronutrient distribution. So 20 grams of 20% protein, 60% fat, and 20% carbs on a Mito plan typically. Of course, all these can be adjusted for you specifically as well. Now, what's the Renew plan? So it is more of a whole system reboot. It's to set an individual on a renewed path to wellness. It helps to support healing by removing common food triggers that are contributing to their metabolic dysfunction while providing the essential nutrients that are needed for health and vitality. So the Renew plan is a way of eating that reduces intake of all sweeteners and processed foods. It lowers inflammation and improves the body's ability to eliminate harmful substances. It places a strong emphasis on eating clean foods for life and avoiding those foods that impair the body's ability to function properly. So these are the foods that are typically okay to eat, and these are the foods we typically remove. This plan typically will help you with decreasing your sugar cravings, chronic pain, fatigue, helps with weight loss, it helps with cognitive function and mood. So this one's sort of the whole body reset, like I said before. It eliminates processed foods, dairy, grain, and gluten-free, reduces inflammation, identifies food triggers and reduces those, reduces cravings and food addictions, phytonutrients to heal the gut are included, it encourages healthy elimination of toxins, it supports your sugar detoxification, and there's the 2-page document for that as well. Typically, it's more of a 30% protein, 45% fat, 25% carb plan. Now, this plan is the anti-candida, which is used typically for people who struggle with fungal infections and sugar cravings and things like that. The low FODMAP plan is actually for people who have certain GI issues. Maybe they have a lot of gas production, bloating, things like that. That's what the low FODMAP plan is for. And then the specific carbohydrate diet is used for people who have what we call intestinal dysbiosis, or where your microbiome or your bacteria in your gut is just not balanced. You have too much bad bacteria and not enough good bacteria, and you may have even been told you have SIBO before, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Now, this next one is basically a phytonutrient food spectrum. And so this one gives you details about all these phytonutrients or phytochemicals that can be helpful to your wellness. And so they're natural compounds that are components of plants that are powerful defenders of health. And in the human body, phytonutrients stimulate enzymes that help the body get rid of toxins, boost the immune system, improve cardiovascular health, promote healthy estrogen metabolism, and stimulate the death of cancer cells. So fruits and vegetables are rich sources of phytonutrients, along with whole grains, legumes, herbs, spices, nuts, seeds, and teas. And phytonutrients in food come in all different colors. So they're green, yellow, orange, red, blue, purple, and white. And that's what these colors are representing. And they each do something just a little bit different. And that is all included in the guide that comes along with it. So how do I know which nutritional plan is right for me? I mean, those are a lot of different choices, and there's a lot to go over there. So that's where we come in. So we do a complete nutritional evaluation for you, and we personalize that plan and lifestyle for you. We don't want you to feel like this is something that you have to do that's just, oh my gosh, I have to take out all these foods out of my diet and I'm going to feel terrible, I'm going to miss my favorite whatever. The point is to have you feel your best and to make it work with your lifestyle. And that's where a lot of bad diets just don't work, because we're only able to do those things for a period of time, and then we get tired of it and we're ready to stop. And so that's where teaching you what good whole foods are, what to look for when you're in the grocery store, what kind of apps and things you can use to actually help you navigate, because what's on the front of the box is not always the truth. So you really need to learn how to kind of read between the lines when it comes to going shopping for your foods and knowing what is the best kind of food for you. So we literally personalize the plan just for you. So if you're interested in learning about how we could do a nutritional evaluation on you and get you set up with a different lifestyle or food plan, You can go to our website, thewaeclinic.com, and click on our services and click on nutritional counseling, and that'll tell you a little bit more about what we do. You can also choose to book now and just choose the nutritional counseling visit type, and we would love to help you out. I know right now during this time, we have totally fallen off the wagon of eating clean and healthy foods because of our situation currently. So I hope that I would be able to help you in any way. If you have any questions, you can also call us at the WAE Clinic, which is 662-545-4599. And I hope that that has been informative for you. And if you have any questions, let us know. Thank you.